Hey there, everybody, and welcome to this first installment of the Introduction to Rhetoric and Rhetorical Analysis. Again, my name is Mr. Deary. I'm your AP teacher for the year. And today we're going to start by looking at some of the different lenses, for rhetorical analysis. And there are a number of different ways that you can approach a piece and break it down. And what we're going to focus on today, this huge list that we're going to look at all semester, is going to be the second one on the left, the rhetorical framework. The rhetorical framework is an easy and foundational method of rhetorical analysis, and it's kind of the starting point or starting lens for all the other ones to be built off of. As you're going to see in a moment, one category in particular encompasses a lot of the other lenses that you see on the screen. So without much further ado, let's look at the rhetorical framework. Now, on this initial screen right here, you're going to see that it's basically used for four major divisions. I'm going to use my cursor here. We have the rhetorical situation, arrangement, the Aristotelian appeals, and style. And those four sections each have operations within themselves that we need to understand. And as it says on here, this is the most important foundational framework because, again, each of these parts can be broken down and utilized to increase your score from a 2 to a 3, a 4, or even a 5 on your individual essay scores. So when we look at this framework that we have here, we see all of it in one color. In the next slide, I'm actually going to break it down by color to show those divisions. But take a look at it. Right away, the first thing you should see is the word purpose with the box around it. And that is the single most important part of this entire framework. Purpose is what all things connect back to and are stemming from. Purpose is the why, the who, the how, the where, all of it. All of it connects back to the purpose. And this framework right here, along with some of the additions that the College Board has added in the last year or two, is a way of being able to understand all important parts of a story. So let's break it down here in a moment. We have four colors on here: red, green, pink, and purple. And I'm going to focus right now on the red, which is the rhetorical situation, which is going to take up most of Unit 1. The rhetorical situation in the classical sense is exigence, audience, and purpose. Exigence is the why an author writes. Audience is the who or the to whom the author is writing. And the purpose is the what. What does the author want us to do with this essay, this article, this speech, this poem, whatever it is? Now, off to the left of all these, you see that writer and exigence connect to one another. The College Board has included writer, context, and message because it wants us to think about those factors as well. So when you're thinking about why an author is writing, stop for a moment and look at who the author is, what the author's background is, where this is being published. To a degree, could be considered part of the writer. Is this someone who publishes exclusively on conservative or liberal platforms? Part of who that author's identity is going to factor into the exigence. For audience, look at the broader context. Audience is one of those ones that we usually just kind of gloss over. It's writing to Americans, it's writing to men or women or teenagers or adults. But we want to be very specific in the context of which this audience is receiving it. The way that you are receiving this message right now, digitally, through your Chromebook, that I'm recording before school's even started, is a context that influences my audience. Traditionally, you hear this in the second week of school, in class. You're going to be copying this down in your notebook. I'm going to say have colors with you. But the context and how we're talking about it now changes for you, my specific audience. So being aware of that, not just saying teenagers in AP Lang, but teenagers on remote learning, that's how you break this audience category down for some greater context. And then finally, and excuse me for my nose, I'm plugged up and I have allergies, and let's be real, people, none of these videos are going to be perfect. So anyway, back to purpose, we have the message. How is that purpose being delivered? Is it a fiery oration where you have someone pounding on his podium and screaming out and trying to rile people up? Or is it a quiet, soft-spoken video? Is there music in the background? Is it in that video? Is it a written speech or editorial? Is it published in a way that changes how it looks? Is it a poem? Is it an acrostic? Is it X, Y, or Z? But what form does that message take? And how does the form of the message influence the purpose? Now, we're going to talk all about the rest of these, the Aristotelian appeals, ethos, pathos, logos, arrangement, which is our line of reasoning, the methods of development, and style at a later time. For now, though, I want to take a few moments and just review some quick basics about the rhetorical situation. First, let's take a look at the original three: exigence, audience, and purpose. For exigence, what is the one word that you can kind of use to remind yourself what exigence is? The answer again there is why the author writes. For audience, what's the one word that we can use to remind ourselves what we're looking to discover when we're trying to figure out the audience? Yes, who is what we're looking for. Who is the direct receiving audience, and who are the secondary audiences that also receive that message? Finally, for purpose, what's the one word kind of reminder that we can use there? What the author wants us to be able to do, what the author wants the audience to go out and follow up with. In any case, thanks for watching this. We're going to get much more in depth on this in the upcoming weeks. In the meantime, if you've got questions about any of the aspects of the rhetorical situation, or if you want some clarification on anything else I've said, feel free to reach out to me. And otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.